Hey everybody, Merry Christmas! It's Eggbert here at Devitt's. Why don't you come on down to Christmas on the Farm and have a good time?
So that's Eggbert. He is a tradition here in Orange County, in the Hudson Valley. And I am so honored to be here because I've been growing here since I was a kid. We're going to get to that later. But I'm sitting here with my buddy, Joe Gizzarelli, who's one of the owners here, who kept this tradition going on. And I'm saying that because as I was a kid, born in '73, I used to come here with my parents, and we talked earlier. So, Joe, first of all, great to see you. Great to meet you and your guys. What a great team here. You have like Santa's workshop going on here, getting ready, because we're sitting here the day before Thanksgiving, but people are going to be seeing this in the next few days after that. You'll be opening full throttle.
We will.
But, Joe, this is really, again, it means a lot to me because, again, I remember coming here with my parents, experienced the whole Eggbert, and a lot of my friends who I went to high school too. We always post every year about this. But we used to go shopping to Lloyd's, like just all that stuff that you and I remember when we were younger.
Up, yes.
And let's just go through the history of who is Eggbert, what happened, because it's a great history. Like, I think 1930, Eggbert was hatched.
Eggbert was hatched. He was done up by the Dream Team at Cornell University. His original job was to promote eggs. During
the Depression, right? Yeah. Or during the lull in the egg
purchasing time. Yes. Yeah, eggs have always gotten a little bit of a bad press as far as cholesterol. We won't necessarily talk about that.
I just had 2 over medium about a half hour before I came here today.
We can't tell him that.
That's okay. Oh yeah, I won't say that yet. Sorry.
He gets a little poached when you do that.
But it was created to help the industry.
He was, and he was actually crowned at the World's Fair by Governor Dewey. So he's
the Prince of Christmas, right?
Well, he was more for eggs at that time. It was much later in time that Jack Devitt had went to Cornell, and Eggbert had been in retirement for many years. And he purchased them, and Jack always felt that he would partner well with Christmas, that he kind of embodied a lot of the Christmas spirit as far as hope and renewal. I mean, traditionally everybody says, well, eggs are for Easter.
Yeah.
But those same concepts go well for Christmas.
It's worked for us. And when you grow up with it, it becomes a tradition. And I have friends that come visit me. Every year I come here and I bring people with me, my family, and they're like, what is this? My family from Orange County knows it. From out of town, like, this sounds really crazy. But when they get there, like, this is amazing. And on your way to see Eggbert, not only do you have a great store and you have great drinks, we'll get into that, but you also have a wonderful walking through Wonderland, right? Including live animals and all sorts of great exhibits.
Well, it evolved greatly with each of my partners. They all added a ton of it. Chris is a car guy, so Eggbert over time developed his own garage, and Evan has brought in all the different types of trees. So it's a big group effort, but we try and make it as magical as we can for the kids.
That's great. I keep going back to the tradition of this because Mr. Devitt put this all together, and then you worked with him, and then he started slowing down, and you and your partners, you put up this dream team that would carry on the tradition.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, when I talked to you and your partners before we went on live here, I said this could have been 10,000 different things.
Oh, definitely.
It could have been a department store, it could have been a housing development, who knows? But what did you guys work here and you said, I think this is a great opportunity, or did you say we have to save this, or both?
Well, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, the nursery industry is the only thing I've really known, so I'm very prone to it. Chris comes from a landscape background, and so he's prone to it. And Evan worked for, I don't know if you remember Windsor Farms, for probably 30 years before he came here.
Wow.
So we all had a lot of experience in our blood for this. And Christmas is just there's so little magic left in the world. And, and this just gives kids a chance to be a kid and enjoy it for a few hours. Because
This is fun. I love it. My kids wanted to come here, and they might end up joining us. Hopefully after we're done recording, because they're pretty wild. At least my two boys are. But it is literally. I'm so pumped to be here for this.
Nice.
When you took this over with your partners from Mr. Devitt, was it where it is today, or did it?
No.
How much stuff did you add on? Like double the size of the exhibit?
It's probably almost tripled.
Tripled. Wow. We're sitting on the train. I rode on this last year with my boys, and it's just a great stuff.
Yeah, it's old-fashioned. It gives them a chance to really experience things the way they used to be. There's just very little of that. I mean, everybody's got a video game in their hands now.
Yeah, this definitely brings us back to when we were kids. This, the Christmas Story type of time when you watch that show. Like the good old days, where it had the exhibits are a mixture of some modern stuff, but a lot of old-fashioned stuff.
Correct.
And then you also have animals in there. So where does that come in? Like, where are they from?
Well, Jack originally had the concept was Eggbert and Christmas on the farm, and
Yeah.
we never changed that.
Okay.
But on a farm, you have animals.
Yeah.
And Orange County used to be a lot more rural than it is currently, but
Yeah.
so a lot of the kids aren't exposed to farm animals anymore. They just love the animals.
Yeah.
The goats, the donkey, pigs.
We have cows, we have a horse and a donkey, and we have all sorts of chickens and everything. I bring my kids here; they're still like fascinated by the farm animals, even though we have a farm. There's what I saw when we started here. It was like a beehive of people setting up. All the people that work with you.
Oh, yeah.
Are all hands on deck right now. It is a monumental task to get this set up for you, right?
It definitely is. There have been people working on scenes since August.
Wow.
When Christmas finally gets here, there's a certain amount of relief that it actually exists now. But it's always a nail biter, to be honest. We're still working on a few things as we speak.
So the floodgates open officially here on Black Friday.
Correct.
When did they close? The day before Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Eve.
Because Christmas is a Monday this year, so it'll be running up until I think 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Christmas Eve.
What's the most rewarding thing for you and your partners here? I mean, I've asked your partners, a couple of them on the way here. I'm like, you've owned this since 2010. The world has been through all sorts of craziness to them. COVID, some economic ups and downs. And he said you guys have had a good year every year. You've been strong. So it's not like you were worried about stuff. What's the most rewarding thing of being a part owner with this?
Well, it's more or less seeing the kids, because I mean, even when we're not doing Christmas, we usually have a lot of activities throughout the year. So there's a car show for the dads in May. There was a butterfly house where the animals are for about 2 months this summer with native butterflies.
Oh, wow, very cool.
We did a few classes, so we like interacting and being part of the community. And I think that attributes to sales too. In the long run, it's not the whole motivation for everything, but we're neighbors, we're friends. We know most of the customers by name.
I want to go back just to Eggbert real quick. Okay, so he's conceived in 1930, and has a great experience with the New York State Fair, and like we said, Governor Dewey was part of this. So then, we're growing up as kids. You see it. You're a little bit older than me, but we all grew up doing this stuff. Sure. And then it shuts down for a little bit of time.
Well,
Agway.
It closed in 1999. Agway purchased the Garden Center building, and from Jack in '96, and they ran it for about almost 4 years before they decided to close it. At that time, Jack got Eggbert back, and he made small appearances at the New Windsor Christmas party, but he basically was kind of in retirement. It wasn't until the year after we purchased, and Chris was the major motivator, because he remembered his kids enjoying it so much when they were little at the Garden Center that he wanted to bring it back. And sincerely, we set up 3 greenhouses worth. There's better than 7 now. And it was much smaller. But we weren't sure if anyone was coming or not. And we were very pleasantly surprised because we had gotten a nice write-up in the record was one, but also the Times.
Yeah.
And even NBC News took an interest in him. So it really was exciting. And it's been popular ever since. I mean, outside the COVID years.
So one of the things I saw that's different, besides it's still incredible, going back to yesteryear, is now Egbert's not alone.
Now, he has an old friend. She did a lot of other things in her life, but she's gone into semi-retirement and is hanging out with Eggbert. Her name's Claire.
Yeah.
And she usually just goes by Claire.
Yeah.
But she's a sweetheart, and she has her own greenhouse and her own...
When did that start?
That started last year.
Yeah, okay.
That was
I started last year. I was like, okay, this is something that I'm not seeing before, and we loved it.
Yeah, she was finally able to reunite with Eggbert. They were friends from back on the farm, and
so as we walked here, you can pretty much get everything you need for Christmas.
Pretty much.
As you're walking in here, you see the Christmas trees lined up, which is great. And I love Christmas, so I'm not one of those people that's too soon for it. It's like you said. There's not a lot to look forward to sometimes because there's usually a lot of depressing things on the news, and it's been a struggling time in the last decade or so. But this is great. It's universally liked. I know people that aren't even Christian that just love Christmas time. And so you can buy a Christmas tree. You can also go to the shop up there that's got, I can probably work if you guys need somebody there. You got Christmas ornaments. You got all sorts of apparel with Eggbert on there. You got another train set inside there. You got all sorts of classic posters, which are beautiful. And then you have a tasting room, which I experienced, I think, about 3 years ago for the first time. You rope in local businesses like Newburgh Brewing Company.
Yep.
Had their own, I think, what was
IPA,
what was
Angry IPA.
Angry IPA with a picture of Eggbert on the front of it.
Right. He's a little cracked up on that one.
Yeah, that was great. And then last year, I think it was you, we were trying to go back at who did it, because it was definitely a guy, it wasn't a girl. You had an eggnog tasting for the parents, and I said, man, this is the best eggnog I've ever had. I said, what's the secret? You said eggnog and honey-flavored Jack Daniels.
And a dash of cinnamon.
And a dash of cinnamon, okay. So I was in Groton at the Navy base a few days ago. While I was there, I picked up one, so I'm ready to go for my family for the season. But you rope in Maroney's is on there now.
We're helping with the toy drive. Egbert's very proud to be doing that.
And you had a couple, I think there was 2 other businesses, I can't remember. I knew it was Newburgh Brewing.
Magnolini Winery made a vintage for Claire.
Wonderful.
And it's a Chardonnay type. It's very good. She likes it.
That's great. But I love the tie-in with the local businesses there, which is, I think it's great. And I think it sounds like, I like Newburgh Brewing Company. I go to events there once in a while, and to me, they were one of the first brewing companies that said, let's try this new phase that's going around the country. But the fact that you got their energy in it and they're putting their own label on it, I'm sure the Magnini Winery label must look pretty cool too.
It does.
On it. So I think it's great. Did they come up to you, or did you come up to them?
We came up to them. My nephew is actually one of the brewers at the Newburgh Brewery, and Chris approached the winery last year, and when Claire was he knew Claire was coming for sure, and we also have a new one that's going to be out this year. It's a coffee. So
great.
So pretty much any of your main beverages we can kind of cover.
So Joe, just a couple more quick questions, and then we're just going to go to walk around and check this stuff out, because I got like the inside scoop before it officially opens.
Yes.
But you guys had a hiatus during the COVID years, but have you seen, since you brought Eggbert back, a steady increase of people coming to see the Winter Wonderland?
It really has been nicely building, thank you. And we're very grateful that people want to see him. I know Egbert's always thrilled. to greet all the kids.
What's your idea of the people that come here? Are they people like you and I growing up with our kids, or are they first-timers too?
Well, usually one spouse or the other. There's a lot of
Knows
mixed
about it.
marriages.
Yeah.
And they're trying very hard to explain it to the other person who really doesn't quite get it. And they're like, an egg, huh? And
Yeah,
it's
at
like,
Christmas time. Yeah, and he talks, and he knows your name.
yes,
And now he's got a sidekick.
and yeah. Claire went over she was very popular last year.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's very hard for people to wrap their head around.
But once you're here, you're hooked.
Yes.
You know, you got great partners in here. Before we cut loose on this, what are the hours? Like the days and hours for this?
Well, it's going to be Friday nights from 4 to 7, and Saturdays we're 10 to 5, and Sundays we are 10 to 4.
Okay. And then you roll right into Christmas Eve.
Yes, and then there's some special hours for Christmas Eve. Is a little shorter.
So if they go to the Devitt's website,
They can catch all
details
the
on it.
hours, yeah.
Awesome. All right, Joe, thank you for everything. Let's go check out and say hello to Eggbert.
Oh, I'm sure he's dying to meet you, Steve.
Awesome, thank you.
Let's go
All right, Joe, we're here with Eggbert. Let's say hello.
Hi, Eggbert. How are
Hey,
we doing?
Joe.
Have you met my friend Steve?
Is that Steven?
Yes.
How are you, Steve?
Got a little bit taller, but a little bit chubbier, but still here.
I just keep shrinking.
And we talked about how excited we are about the holidays, so excited about how you bring happiness to a lot of young families. And we were also talking, who comes here? Are they people that know you, or are they people that have never met you before? Is that like the exciting part?
Seems like I get people from all over the world.
That's awesome. Joe, this has been great. I'm so happy to not only be here, but to hear that you guys have kept this tradition and a crazy history, even including a New York State governor.
Yeah.
So, Joe,
Thank
it's been
you.
a pleasure. Make sure you check this out, folks. This is literally an Orange County, Hudson Valley tradition that is back and has been back and is growing, and it continues to do that with support from you with a local business like this. So, thank you. Thanks again, Joe.
Oh, thank
Again,
you, Steve. Appreciate the time.